I stood at my kitchen window, coffee mug warming my hands, watching the chaos unfold across the street with a mix of grim satisfaction and, yeah, a hint of petty triumph. Laura's gleaming silver Range Rover, her pride and joy, sat in her flawless driveway, but something was horribly wrong. The hybrid SUV, usually purring with smug efficiency, was choking out a grotesque, gurgling noise. Its headlights flickered like a dying bulb, and then it happened to eat a thick, brownish sludge ooze from under the hood, pooling on her pristine concrete. The morning sun caught the liquid, making it shimmer with flecks of fried residue. The stench hit soon after, a rancid blend of old cooking oil and scorched electronics. Laura burst out her front door in a silk robe, her designer slippers slapping the pavement as she sprinted to her car. Her scream could have shattered glass, and I swear half the neighborhood peeked out their windows. I just sipped my coffee. After months of her lies, theft, and harassment, I couldn't muster a shred of pity. Some folks only learn the hard way. 6 months back, I was levying what I thought was the good life. I'd been laid off from my desk job during a rough economic dip, but I took my severance and poured it into a food truck gourmet burgers, the kind that make your mouth water just thinking about them. It was a gamble, but it paid off. I had steady routes, loyal customers, and enough cash to cover my mortgage with a bit left over. My neighborhood was modest but tidy, a planned community with an HOA that kept everything picture perfect. Sure, their rules could be a pane grass height, holiday lights, you name it, but I played by the book, no complaints. To keep my business lean, I turned part of my garage into a prep kitchen. It saved me from renting a commercial space, and it was all legal, backed by city permits and HOA approval. I even had a pro install an outdoor electrical outlet by my driveway to power my fridges overnight, no messy extension cords. I filed the paperwork, got the permits, and the HOA signed off. Everything was legit. Then Laura moved in. She bought the biggest house on the block, a 5-bedroom monster that screamed, "Look at me." Single, no kids, but she acted like she owned the place from day one. Her Range Rover had vanity plates LR BOS and she drove it like she was above us all. Within weeks, she wormed her way onto the HOA board, and a month later, she was running the architectural REVYEW committee, deciding who could paint their mailbox or add a porch light. At first, we barely crossed paths, a wave, a fake smile. I didn't think much of her until my electric bill doubled out of nowhere. I called the utility company, sure it was a mistake, but they swore the meter was right. Confused, I started unplugging stuff, tracking my fridge usage, but the next bill was even worse. The truth hit me one night when I got home late from a festival gig. My headlights caught Laura in her driveway, crouched in yoga gear, plugging a heavy-duty extension cord into my outlet. The cord snaked along our shared fence, hidden straight to her car's charging port. She was stealing my electricity to juice up her fancy SUV, a car worth more than my entire business. I parked, walked over, and kept my cool. "Laura, what's with the cord?" I asked, pointing at the orange cable. She stood, not a flicker of shame, and flashed a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, hi. My charger's getting upgraded, so I'm just borrowing a little power. No big deal, right?" I told her she should have asked, and that electricity costs money. Her reply? "It's pennies, Mike. Besides, with your burger truck in a residential area, you owe the neighborhood something." I explained my business was fully legal and asked her to unplug. Her smile vanished. "Do you know who I am? I'm on the HOA board. I could shut your little operation down." The threat hung heavy, but I stood firm until she unplugged and stormed off, muttering about selfish neighbors. I bought a lockable cover for the outlet, the next day a plastic box with a padlock. Problem solved, I thought. 3 days later, the lock was smashed, the cover wrecked, and my meter showed someone had siphoned power overnight. No proof it was Laura, but who else? I upgraded to a metal cover with security screws and added a monitor to ping my phone if the outlet was used. A week of peace, then at 2 a.m., my phone buzzed. I crept outside and caught Laura in dark clothes, wielding a toolkit to pick my screws. She'd already cracked the cover and was plugging in. "Really, Laura?" "Breaking and entering now," I said, loud enough to make her jump. She dropped her screwdriver but recovered fast. "This outlet's on the property line. It's practically communal. I'm just borrowing." I told her I'd documented everything and would go to the police if needed. Her eyes narrowed. You're messing with the wrong person. I know people on the city council. One call, and your truck's toast. She grabbed her cord and left. The next day, the HOA slapped me with a due law $250 fine for an unapproved outlet cover, plus due law $50 daily until I fixed it. I appealed at the next meeting with all my permits, but Laura, in her committee chair glory, twisted the talk to paperwork technicalities. The fine dropped, but didn't disappear. My bills kept climbing. Laura was still at it. Leah VYing taunting signs like a misaligned padlock or a slightly ajar cover. I installed a security camera, but Laura reported it as an HOA violation due law $500 fine. Remove it immediately. At the next meeting, I showed video of her stealing power, but she claimed it was an inspection and the footage was doctored. The HOA president, Tom, a retired lawyer, suggested we talk it out, and I could keep the lock but ditch the camera. Useless. The stress was killing me. Customers noticed I was off my game, and I worried I'd lose business. Renting a commercial kitchen would tank my profits, and selling my house wasn't an option in this market. I felt cornered, outplayed by a woman who treated my electricity like her personal buffet. Then, while cleaning my truck's grease trap one night, it hit me. The trap's pump was electric, powerful, and reversible. What if, instead of sucking grease out, it pumped it somewhere else? A plan formed not to hurt anyone, but to make Laura's theft backfire spectacularly. Over a few days, I rigged a separate circuit from my outlet to the grease trap pump. When something big, like a car charger, drew power, it'd trigger the pump to push used fryer oil filtered but stinky through the system. The outlet looked normal, with a cover that seemed locked but gave with a nudge. It was legal, safe, and on my property. A trap for a thief who wouldn't quit. Petty? Maybe. Justified? Hell yes. For 3 nights, nothing. I wondered if Laura had moved on. Then, at 1:15 a.m. on the 4th, my phone pinged major power draw. I checked the app. It was car charging levels. The trap was sprung. I didn't confront her. I went to bed, barely sleeping, imagining the fallout. At dawn, I peered out my window. Laura's Range Rover was streaked with dark, greasy sludge. At 6:30, Tom rang my bell, looking grim. Laura's car's trashed, and she's blaming you. Cops are coming. I stayed calm. I didn't touch her car, but I'll talk to them about her stealing my power. I explained everything to Tom over coffee. Laura's theft, the broken locks, my legal wiring tweak. He sighed. She's going to make this ugly. I was ready, with receipts, footage, and diagrams. When the cops arrived, Laura was in her driveway, ranting and pointing at me. They listened, inspected her car, then knocked on my door. I laid it all out. Her theft, my bills, the videos, the circuit mod. Officer Daniels, fighting a grin, asked about safety. I assured him it was code compliant, just wired a pump grease if she plugged in. They checked the setup, nodded, and said it was a CIVY El Materno charges. Laura could sue, but so could I for theft and damages. Then the city's code enforcer, Janet, showed up. Laura claimed my kitchen was illegal, but Janet, after re-VYUing my permits, praised my setup and cited Laura for utility theft, due law $1,000 per incident, plus due law $500 restitution. Laura was speechless, her face pale as Janet promised a citation. 3 days later, an emergency HOA meeting packed the community center. Laura demanded my business be shut down and I pay due law $20,000 for her car. I countered with my permits, footage, and diagrams, pro-VYing I'd acted legally to stop her theft. Neighbors backed me, saying my truck caused no issues. An engineer confirmed my wiring was safe. A lawyer noted Laura's actions were prosecutable. Laura snapped, accusing us of a conspiracy, but the room turned on her. The HOA voted. My business was legit, and Laura was booted from the board. They even passed a rule against utility theft. Laura's car needed due law $15,000 in repairs, new charging system, deep cleaning, no insurance coverage. She tried suing, but dropped it when her lawyer saw the EVY Denke. 2 weeks later, she got a proper charger installed. Her Range Rover was shiny again, but a faint burger grease smell lingered. She never touched my outlet again. Sometimes the messiest lessons stick best. What would you have done in my shoes? Let Laura keep stealing or fight back like I did? Was my grease trap trick genius or too far? Should the HOA have stepped in sooner? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more Wild Neighbor drama.